Today's video is going to generate some hate, I'm sure, because we today are going to clean coins like this peace dollar right here with a laser engraver. Now look, I've said many times on this channel never to clean rare coins, and that is 100% true, but fortunately for us, these coins are not rare. So what we're going to do today is see what kind of damage we could cause if we cleaned rare coins with a laser like our xTool right here. Now xTool reached out to me and asked me if they could send me this laser engraver and I could use it and experiment on it with some old coins, and I said sure, why not? So a huge thank you to xTool for sending me this laser. And guys, if you're interested in one of these, I will tell you more about the laser itself at the end of the video. But for today's video, let's go ahead and take this xTool F1 right here and see what we can do with these coins. My channel is sponsored by sdbullion.com. New customers can get their first order of gold or silver at spot by going to sdbullion.com/new. Now, normally we would need a ruler to figure out what the diameter of our coin is, but fortunately, US coins have a very specific diameter, so we can just plug it in. A US half dollar is 30.6 millimeters in diameter, so we're just gonna make a little circle here. We'll do it like that, just for fun. But if we go up here and we unlock this, this lock right here, we can actually adjust the size all on our own. We're gonna set this to 30.7 millimeters in diameter, and the reason is that I wanna make sure it gets all the way to the outside of the coin. And then you can see it kind of locks into place here on the software, so we know it's in the center. We're gonna set it to engrave. Now the xTool's infrared laser, and we need to switch to infrared here, so you can see we have blue light or infrared. Infrared is what we're going to use. The xTool's laser is incredibly fast. You can see we have the speed right now set to 80 millimeters a second. We can crank that all the way up to 4,000 millimeters a second. That will go over the coin almost instantaneously. I think that's gonna be a little bit too fast. We're gonna crank this down to around 2,500 millimeters per second for the speed. And then we're gonna set the laser's power all the way on max. So now that we have that done, we just click framing and we go out and we set the coin right on the center of the framing box. So one thing we want to do before we frame it is focus it. And as you can see, we have two dots here, red and blue. And if we adjust the height of our laser, you can see these dots come apart and go together. We're going to get them touching just like that. Now we know it is perfectly focused. Now we can frame it. And how the framing works is you can see now we have this blue box and we want to get our coin directly center in the box, so that we know it is going to cover the entire coin, which is exactly what we have. All we have to do now is close it and go hit start. Now I went ahead and reopened it before I pressed the button to start it so you guys can watch it laser engraved. For me, I'm going to be wearing my safety glasses, and even with them on, I'm not going to be looking directly at it. It's very important that you are very safe whenever you're messing with lasers. All right, let's hit the button and see what it does. Now that was in real time. In other words, I did not speed that up at all, and you can see how quickly it changed the color of our coin. That was insane. So let's get it back under the camera and take a close look at it. Now that is a significant difference from what it looked like before. But like we said with the steel cent, we did see some marks in it. I'd like to see if the marks are on this one as well. So just to settle that, we're going to get out my coin scope and look really close. And there is no doubt when you look at it close that you can see the laser lines and you can see where it actually ate a little bit into the metal. Even as fast as it was, that definitely changed the composition of the metal. Look at the lines going through right here. Now I wonder if we did this a few more times, same coin, a few more times, how it would look. Let's try it out. So I think what we're gonna do is actually slow the laser down. So let's lower it down to 1,000 millimeters per second, and let's set it to like 3 passes. So it's actually gonna go over the coin 3 times at 1,000 millimeters per second on full power from the laser. Let's frame it and see what happens. And it definitely has an interesting look to it. Let's look at it closer under the 4K cam. All right, take a look at that. You can clearly see the lines. We don't even need to get the coin camera out, but just to look at them much more closely, we are going to do that. And yeah, look at it under the coin camera. We have definite lines going all the way through the coin from where the laser was hitting and not hitting. Now there is a setting that we can do, and we do have another 40% half dollar, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. On our software, we can actually set the lines per centimeter a lot higher than what it's at. In fact, it goes up to a max of 300. Now I imagine that it is going to take longer because it's gonna have to cover more area of the coin, and that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and set it to 4,000 speed, And we'll do 2 passes since we are definitely doing a much more detailed clean, if you will, 300 versus 100. And here's the coin we're actually gonna put under the laser. That way you can see what it looks like before we do this. Now let's get it under the laser and see what happens. Okay, so we probably could have gotten away with just doing 1 pass. Take a look, you can see watching it back, even I can see that most of what was done with that first pass, but still, it looks pretty good. Let's see how it looks up close. All right, well, I can definitely see the laser having hit the coin. That said, it did a really good job. I mean, without looking at this under the coin scope, you would think that's a great job there. You can even see some reflection, almost like luster. To me, it looks like the coin's been whizzed. And under the coin camera, yeah, we can definitely see it looks a lot different. It looks more like a wavy pattern than the lines, and that's probably just because of how detailed it was. And if you noticed, it was, even though we had it set to maximum speed, because we had it set to 3 times the resolution, if you will, it did take longer than our first pass that we did today. So looking pretty interesting, but again, that is definitely coming from the laser right here. And we're gonna go ahead and do some more coins. All right, so real quick for a before and after, we have our 1922 piece dollar, our wheat cent, our Liberty nickel, and our war nickel. Now the piece dollar, you're probably wondering, why is it in the plastic? We're actually going to try and do it through the plastic. And if it messes up or if it melts the plastic or whatever it does, we will then do the back of it without the plastic. We'll see how that goes. It could be weird. But there you go. Let's do them all really quick under the laser and see how they look. We're going to do 300 centimeters per line at full power and maximum speed. Here we go. Man, that thing basically looks like it changed color. Take a look at that. It's a much, much lighter color than what we saw before we laser engraved it. Well, this one certainly isn't as dramatic a difference, but you can definitely see it lightened up the color on the head of Liberty. So I saw a puff of smoke there at the beginning. If you guys didn't notice that, I'll play it back. That was kind of interesting. Okay, so the war nickel's up next, and before I press the start button, I just want to let you know this is actually the second pass because I forgot to record the first one. But let's see what a second pass does to our war nickel. Okay, so kind of like the Liberty nickel, it certainly did not have as strong of an effect as it did on 90% silver, but you can definitely see Jefferson's head is quite a bit lighter, so it certainly did something to it. Okay, so for the piece dollar, we're actually going to lower the speed down to 2,500 millimeters per second. It's just because it's going through the plastic. I really want to see what this does, so let's frame it out and see what happens. All right, so right now it probably looks to you like it didn't do anything, but me being the future Mr. Voiceover guy means that I know better. Take a look at what happens when we open it up. Oh yeah, look here. You can actually see the image of the piece dollar. And our piece dollar looks a little bit different, but oh wow, look at that. I can wipe like soot away almost. Now you can't do that on the backside, notice. It's only on the front. So it definitely worked through the laser, or through the plastic, but it was a little interesting. Let's go ahead, you know what? Let's do the reverse without the plastic and see what happens. Wow, I would argue to say that that is the biggest difference of the day. Again, it was a little bit slower than we were doing some of the other coins, but that is crazy. All right, so here are all of the coins all done, and they've all been through the laser. We're gonna look at the piece dollar first, and that's because we did a different experiment with this with the plastic, and you can see the plastic definitely caused it to laser engrave quite a bit differently. If you look at the reverse, it's a hugely different design, a different look, I should say, not a design. But yeah, the way the laser handled going through the plastic was interesting, and I still have some of that soot on my hands. Looking at our 40%ers, we're not going to look too closely. We already looked at those in detail because we started there. Take a look at our war nickel. Our war nickel definitely looks interesting. Now, we did do 2 passes on this. As I said, I forgot to hit record on the first one. But if you compare it to what the reverse looked like, the obverse looked just like this reverse, and that is a hugely different look. It doesn't look great, like it doesn't look brand new or anything, but it certainly looks different. Now this is interesting, pure copper. Look at the difference in color from the obverse to the reverse. That is wildly different. And then we'll take a look at our Liberty nickel, and it did have an effect on our Liberty nickel. In fact, as I said during recording, I actually saw a little puff of smoke coming off of it. And if you look at a reverse, that's how the obverse looked. So it definitely took away some of the corrosion, but it still certainly doesn't look perfect. So that is the xTool F1, guys. I love this laser. I use it to do wooden COAs. I use it to do all sorts of different things that aren't even metal, but you can also laser engrave metal. I've done some of my custom rounds. I've done laser engraving on some of my pours like I showed you earlier. This is a fantastic all-around portable laser, and I absolutely love it. If you guys want to get your own, I will put an affiliate link in the description below so you guys can support the channel and get your own if you're interested in something like this. If you don't want to get your own, but you still want to see more with the xTool, make sure you subscribe for future videos. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.